You can kind of see where I'm at, near Lansing, Michigan. It is 1:20 in the afternoon, and I'm delivering at this place tonight. As is the case, sometimes you get these loads that are just not efficient. Obviously, the place where I'm delivering has very odd delivery hours. And I'm scheduled to deliver at 1 a.m. and I can check in at 9:30 p.m. because they start unloading trucks at 10. So I'm here. I don't think anybody else is here to unload. Maybe one, or maybe this truck right there. But we will see when time comes to check in what happens. So I've got some time to kill, so I might as well make a video, right? And like I said, I think I've had, in my 3 years, it's hard to believe I'm approaching 3 years of driving a truck, but in the 3 years I've been driving, this will be only the third time that I've had to deliver a load at what I call nighttime. Usually I'm sleeping. I'll show you what I got. It's almost quiet enough to hear the crickets. I'm parked between an empty trailer and this trailer. I've got what I would call oily steel tube. They're a solid tube all the way from the front, I should say all the way from this point to where the tarp ends. My deck is 48 feet. Let's see, 2.5 off the front. And I'll walk all the way to the back. 2.5, so 4. So this is about a little over 40-foot material. Gonna keep my eye on the ground when I walk. I'd hate to get those safety points for tripping. Let's see. Yeah, it stayed together pretty well. This was a preloaded trailer. It's about 47,000 pounds, I want to say. Maybe it's 44. I'd have to look at the paperwork. But yeah, it was only 250 miles away. So, but that's the downside. Every once in a while, I'll get these kind of crazy loads. So I earned my money for today, and now I'm parked. And I will watch movies and eat food, because that's what I've got. I've got all the stuff I need to live in my New York size apartment. That might be actually considered a large New York size apartment. This is my view out the back of my trailer, except I don't have any windows in the back. It's a fairly large facility with a lot of what I would say open land here. It's a fairly, I like these newer style trailers. But hey, so now the wait begins, not for delivering, but to see if I get a pre-plan. I want to, since today is Thursday, I deliver tonight. That means I will be empty, and it would be nice to be able to plan my day efficiently tomorrow. Because when I know when my pickup time is for my next location, I know how long I can sleep. I know there's like a mandatory 10 hours, but I may not be delivering at 1. I may be delivering at 10. So that would allow me to, let's say I got in at 10 and everything off by 10:30, which can happen. This can get unloaded fairly quickly because they're long pieces. It just takes a couple hoists and everything is off. It is like 75 degrees here, but a little bit humid. So that means technically I could be, if I calculate this right in my head, be off duty for 10 hours and be ready to roll at 8:30 in the morning. it doesn't typically go ideal. So, but it would be nice to have a pre-plan just so I can know how to plan my day, where I need to be, and most importantly, does it go to by my house? Because it becomes, you have very little personal life with your family as it is as a truck driver, and then not knowing when you're getting home makes it difficult to plan anything, like buying a truck. Luckily, I've got a very supportive spouse. I have the best wife on the planet. Because I told her, hey, I'm going to sell my Jeep. And she's like, okay. And then I said, I'm going to buy a truck. She's like, all right. And she sends me links for trucks to look at while I'm parked. And which is great. So I've got all these trucks that are saved that for me to go look at and or purchase on Saturday if I'm actually home. But it makes it hard to go do these kind of personal things if you don't know you're going home. Or if I end up getting my information about my load for tomorrow and come to find out I'm not going home. Because I'm not going to buy a truck unseen, untest driven, not looked at. Because I'm looking for a very specific truck style, a very specific engine, in a very specific year. So I'm going to go look at it because I know the known problems and issues, but I know the longevity as well. So I want to look at it myself and check out all the different components that I know are problems and make sure that it's decent running before I make my purchase. And so we'll see how this goes. I cross my fingers that I get a pre-plan and can head on out of here. I figure I'm about, let's see, I was 2 hours, 2.5, no, I was 4.5 hours from Juliet, Illinois, from that location to this one. And that is approximately 4 hours from the Madison yard, or what I call home. So technically I'm about 8.5 hours from home from this location where I'm at, a rough calculation. So I have to take into account tomorrow. Luckily, I'm not unloading tomorrow. I'm just loading. So if everything goes well, if it is a load going by my house, I just got to drive somewhere. I can even drive in the opposite direction of home for a little bit and possibly make it home, because there are times where I'm like, oh, this is going to be a smooth sailing Friday. And I get to a receiver and they take, like, let's take yesterday for example. Yesterday I unloaded at a location in the morning and it took 3.5 hours to get unloaded. I take into account that this was a construction site and there was one truck ahead of me that was unloading, and they were using a forklift, one of those bigger forklifts, to try to unload this a few pieces at a time. So I knew it was going to be a while. Happens. But I'm like, all right, now I'm going to go get my new load, and this is going to be quick. And no, it wasn't yesterday. Was it the day before? Same day, though. I went to my new location to pick up, was it lumber? All I know is it took, it was 3 hours at that location as well. So I spent 6 hours of my 14-hour clock sitting and waiting to get loaded or unloading. And that is the downfall of trucking. In my personal experience with my limited 3 years doing this, I still feel like a novice, but yet I am experienced in a sense. I feel the biggest reason, well, there's a couple. Some of the biggest reasons are, one, shippers and receivers. They can really ruin a day of a truck driver. Two, working for 14 hours a day and then sleeping at the office for a week at a time really causes a high turnover rate, in my opinion. And I feel bad for other truck drivers that may stay in their truck a few weeks at a time before getting home. I just don't know how that's done.